Deciding whether to marry, who to marry, is one of the most profound decisions a person can make. And as I've said before, and some of you might remember, on a certain TV show 10 years ago, I got in trouble. Marriage, I mean this from all my heart, marriage is a simple proposition. Who do you love? And will you be loyal to that person you love? It's not more complicated than that.
What this is all about is a simple proposition. Who do you love? Who do you love? And will you be loyal to the person you love?
It's time to chalk up another major win for the Biden administration in what has been a year filled with surprising and unexpected legislative victory. This week, President Biden signed into law the Respect for Marriage Act, which codifies same-sex marriage and adds another layer of defense against Republican efforts to strip away Americans' rights. Here's more.
Racism, anti-Semitism, homophobia, transphobia, they're all connected. But the antidote to hate is love. This law and the love it defends strike a blow against hate in all its forms. And that's why this law matters to every single American, no matter who you are or who you love. This shouldn't be about conservative or liberal, red or blue.
It's easy to feel cynical about our politics. And to be sure, the Respect for Marriage Act is not a perfect bill. But in further protecting the right of marriage equality and bringing along Republican votes as well, Democrats have shown that they can rally support for our most fundamental freedoms, even against entrenched right-wing opposition. The Supreme Court has hinted that with abortion rights now gutted, they may soon turn their gavels towards overturning marriage equality. This legislation makes that a much tougher task. There are many tough fights ahead, but it's also critical that we take just a moment to celebrate when a big win actually comes through. But if we're going to celebrate victory, we also have to be clear-eyed about what's still at risk. Even with the Respect for Marriage Act, marriage equality is not certain. If the Supreme Court does overturn the right to marriage equality, queer Americans in 35 states will need to travel out of state to get married. And language inserted by Republicans limits the support some religious organizations need to provide for same-sex marriage. And Republicans are definitely out to end marriage equality. Just take former Senator and current sleazebag Rick Santorum, who had this to say about the Respect for Marriage Act on Newsmax.
This is a huge deal because what it basically says is that this is now the national standard. This is not just a court decision, but in fact that the Congress has passed a law that institutes a new definition of marriage. And what will happen, as what has happened, it happened under the Civil Rights Act when it came to race. It's happened under other acts when it comes to a national consensus passed in statute, is that agencies and courts then try to enforce that standard.
That's right. Rick Santorum just complained that the Respect for Marriage Act is bad, just like the Civil Rights Act. Take a second and let that one sink in. And Santorum wasn't done whining. Here's more.
What's going to happen is you're going to see not just nonprofit institutions that are church-related, but anybody of faith who is trying to live out their faith in their business or in their lives are now going to be under attack, even more so than they are now, because of this legislation.
Get ready to hear that line about religion being under attack a lot as Republicans gear up for the 2024 presidential election. That's because Republicans can't say out loud what they really want to say, that laws banning discrimination are illegal, and that businesses should have the right to deny service to anyone for any reason they want. But Republicans sure don't feel that way when it's a liberal business doing the banning. Earlier this month in Virginia, a restaurant owner refused service to an anti-LGBTQ family foundation. The restaurant argued that since the Supreme Court allows bakers to refuse service to gay couples because of their beliefs, the same should apply to the right to refuse anti-gay groups for the same reason. The far right melted down when this story hit the press. The group's president, Victoria Cobb, even went on Fox News to whine that her conservative values were being canceled. For reference, Cobb celebrated the Supreme Court's decision allowing Masterpiece Cake Shop to refuse to serve a gay couple based on their values?
Well, certainly they can put it off on their team, but the owner made the phone call. They've put out an official statement. And the bottom line is the buck stops with the owner of the restaurant. Restaurants are not permitted to discriminate, even if their employees are discriminatory. They can be hateful, they can be bigoted, but that's not the right of a restaurant to simply say, hey, we're just not going to let you eat here.
Now, to be fair, that group claims to be a faith-based organization. They never claimed to be lawyers. And with an argument like that, that's probably a good thing. Unfortunately, bad faith actors like that are now doubling down on their war against marriage equality, and it will take a national effort to hold the line. With Joe Biden now delivering on a host of campaign promises and enshrining marriage equality into federal law for the first time in American history, Democrats are riding high. But the work is far from over, and the real fight is just beginning. Celebrate today, because the hard work of defending this progress begins immediately. If you made it to the end, thanks so much for watching. Please leave a like and consider subscribing. And leave a comment below so you can let me know what I should cover next.